Mr. Munhande, it's so nice to have you. How are you?
I'm all right, and how are you?
I'm blessed, thank you.
Oh, that's great. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so privileged to have you. I know you are a very busy man.
Oh, sure. No, that's great.
Yes. Yeah, so we are in this COVID-19 crisis. We are facing a lot of challenges economically, whether as individuals, as families, as businesses. My passion is to empower entrepreneurs and business leaders.
Okay.
And that's the reason why I've brought you, so that you can share some ideas with business leaders and with entrepreneurs.
That's correct.
Yes, sir. So obviously, I know you very well for some time, but somebody will be wondering, who is this Abel Munhande? What would you say in 10, 15, or 20 minutes?
Okay. Yes, my name is Abel Munhande. I was born and I grew up in the village. The area where I come from is called Bikita. That is where I was born, and that's where I grew up. Also, my primary and secondary education, I did that side. I later moved to the city when I was 22. Then when I was to the city, it's like the purpose of going to the city was to look for employment and at the same time to further my education. Because it's like the financial background was not good. So I wanted to find some jobs to do and then face some money to continue with education. That's the reason why I moved to the city. And then when I go to the city, I did several piece jobs. And those was, I got some money, which I used to also further my education. Then during the time I was going to school, doing some courses, that's the same time I also got employment. My employment was, I was an insurance sales rep, or insurance consultant. And usually as a sales consultant, we are paid on commission. And then I started selling insurance. Now, during the process of selling insurance, that's when I realized that I had this gift of selling, because I was making sales more than anyone else in that company. That's when I discovered myself to say I can become a very good seller or salesperson. So when I discovered that, I had to do some courses related to the talent that I had discovered. I had to do some courses at the same time developing the talent, because what happens, even if you know that you are gifted in a certain area, you also need education to cultivate the talent that is lying in yourself, or that is dormant in yourself. So you need some kind of education, interaction, discussion with other people who have been there before you. So this is what I did, and I became a salesperson, and I was selling insurance for a long time. Then I worked for about 12 years in that company. And then I moved to Botswana. And then my first company that I registered was in Botswana. And then I registered an insurance broking company in Botswana, because what I realized that I had that gift of selling insurance. Then I wanted to impart the same gift into other people. Then so that it becomes a company, I employ other people who would come and help me to sell insurance. And then thereby also, they'll be also learning how to sell insurance. So after having a company in Botswana, I went on and I came to Zimbabwe and registered another company, insurance company as well. And then the one in Zimbabwe is a life insurance company. but it is targeting the low income, the middle to the low income people. So they call it micro insurance company. And at the same time, I reached another one, a micro finance company, whereby we also be lending people to the low income people, lending money, sorry, to the low income people. So this is what I did. And at the moment, I think I've diversified. I've got other smaller companies here and there. And this is Mr. Munhande. I'm married with 4 children.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting story.
Okay. Yeah,
Very interesting story.
Yeah.
So, you know, I know you, but I didn't know that side. I mean, where you started.
Okay.
Like, that the background was not good also, and you know, you had to do piece jobs. That's amazing.
Exactly. The background was very bad because parents were not working. They were relying on what they call subsistence farming, whereby you'll be having a very small piece of land, and then you just farm in order to get food. Then a little surplus, that's what you use to probably to sell, so that you'll be able to buy cooking oil, etc. But most of the food will come from the field. And that was the main reason of farming, not commercial. Wow. Then because of that, they couldn't even afford to. When they managed to take me up to O level, they could not go further. So going further, it was my own choice, using my own resources. Because up to now, by now I've got a master's, I've got a doctorate, all those things. I had to do it by myself without bothering my parents.
Such an inspiring story.
Exactly.
So we should actually be saying Dr. Munhande, right?
Exactly.
Dr. Munhande. This is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This is amazing. So I like the way you emphasize education, because most successful entrepreneurs, or even some aspiring entrepreneurs, they will always look for some examples of entrepreneurs that have a lot of money, but they didn't go to school.
Yeah, what happens when you start a business as a self-employed person, the later you grow it to a certain level, you employ 1 or 2 people. And then as we go, the business becomes bigger and bigger, to an extent that it will be bigger than you if you don't go to school. So it's now good to read, so that you grow yourself to a certain level whereby your education and your business will be at least parallel to each other, or will be close to each other. Because and after all, say in case you want some investors from other countries or from within your country, you want some people, some partners, people want to invest in your business, they will also consider your education, because they are afraid that if they give money to someone who's not been to school, you might play around with the money, you may abuse the money. But so they also consider your level of education before they invest in your company. So this is the reason why I had to go to school, so that in case in future, if I need some partners, they won't hesitate, they will trust me because of my level of education. So it's good to read. When you have got there's a time whereby, yes, of course, you may say you are not educated, you are making a lot of money, you may rely on other people. You can employ people who are highly educated and who can run your business, but at times you also need to be relevant yourself. You should read something so that you'll be relevant.
Yeah, this is very inspiring.
Exactly, yeah.
This is very inspiring. So would you like to shed a bit of light, because there is a young Abel somewhere,
exactly,
who is looking up to you. You know, one of the reasons why I wanted you on the show, I know your passion to empower people.
Exactly.
I know your love for God and your love for people.
Exactly.
And already, before we go too far in the show, I'm already enjoying myself. I'm sure others shall enjoy later.
Okay. Like, I can give you an example. In Botswana, I think there are about more than 20 guys who were my employees, who are now having their own insurance companies. There are more than 20. I've groomed so many people who are now into business, and besides just grooming them, some of them I gave them some advances, some monies for them to start their businesses. And now when I come to Botswana, each time I'm in Botswana, I've got so many people around me who love me, who like me because of that. They will say, no, our father have come because I helped them to become successful business people. So I've got that passion whereby I want other people to live well. And I want other people, because the purpose of having a business is for, when you start, you'll be thinking about your family. And later, you also be thinking about your extended family. But later, when the business becomes bigger and bigger, you also start to think about your community, even your country, in terms of employment creation, in terms of poverty alleviation. See, at the end of the day, you'll be fighting poverty for the whole country, fighting poverty even for the region, or even if you consider that people have gone regionally, some have gone globally. So during that process, you will be reducing poverty in the lives of people. And by so doing, when poverty is low, most of the things, even health, it would even improve because there's no poverty. So we want to try by all means to have our people having employment somewhere, somehow, through us who are already in business.
I just love this.
Okay.
I just love this.
Okay.
I love what I'm hearing, and I know that our community will love to hear this. I mean, like right now, many people are worried. People are losing jobs. COVID-19 is causing some companies to fall down, and people don't know what to do next. And we have people who belong to the kingdom of God, people like you, Mr. Munhande, Dr. Munhande, sorry. People like you, Dr. Munhande, who have a passion to empower others and to alleviate poverty and to empower not only the country, but even the region, the continent, and the world at large. That's amazing. So for a young Abel who is sitting watching this video, they might just want to have an idea, because I remember you were saying when you started off, you were doing some courses to empower yourself. A young Abel will be thinking, what sort of courses are we talking about? Oh, yes, you went ahead and did a master's. What sort of a master's was that? You went ahead, you did a doctorate. What sort of a doctorate was it? And where did you get the time? Because business people are always busy.
All right. I've been in business for the past 28 years. So in my early days of business, I didn't do much of reading. My master's and my doctorate, I got them recently. But what is important, if I want to try and address the young people, the young people, some young people are employed elsewhere, they're employed where they are working. But what is important, as you are working, try to discover yourself. Try to discover the gifts or the talents that are in you. What is important is to know what is it that I can do best. What is it that I can, even in the company, even the employers, they know what you are doing best in that company. Even your parents, they know what best thing that you can do in your life. They know. Even at churches, pastors, they can even advise you of what to do, because some of them, they can discern, they can see that this person has got a capacity to do A, B, C, D. So that is how, so what is important is to discover yourself, and then you build a business based on what you think you can do best. It's not just about imitating others. You don't imitate others. You see someone having a combi, then you go and buy a combi. That's not it. If you see someone selling tomatoes, then you start selling tomatoes. That's not it. What is important, you first of all discover what is in you. Then you would see who else is doing what is in you elsewhere. Then you go and learn from that person. So in this case, you should build your business on something that you like most. Number one. or should build your business on something that you have been exposed to. Say, for example, like in my case, I was a salesperson, and now my business now is of selling insurance services. But I started selling services because I've been selling services where I was before. So I had to build a business up based on my experience. So you can build a business on your experience. You can build a business on your passion, something that you like most. You can do your business on something that you learned at school and you were doing it well at school. Say, for example, at school, you were very good in engineering, so probably electrical engineering or mechanical engineering, whatever engineering that you were doing. So you can now start a business based on something that you learned, that you were doing well at school. So there are so many ways of starting a business. I want to talk to the young people, even the elderly people. Some of them have been laid off from their employment as we speak. So it's not difficult to start a business. Just start something. And if you feel you don't really know what you are good at, what is good to experiment? You know what I'm saying? You try this, you try that, you try that. Then at the day you leave the rest and concentrate on what is coming up better than the others. So the other issue is to try here. So many business people out there, they started, so they're doing so many things until they realized what was best for them. Then they started to do that. So what is important at times in business is just to start, just to do something. Say, for example, I want to go to the city. I should make a first step to go to the city or to town. I should move. Yeah, you don't just cry sitting at one place. I want to go to town. I want to go to town. And you are not making any step towards the city that you want to go to. Just move. You see, this is what I'm trying to advise the young people. Don't say, I don't have capital, I don't have this, I don't have that. Don't have so many complaints or excuses. Just start doing something. And some people at times, when they are given some big post at their workplace, because when you start business, you don't start up there, you start very low. It will be like you have reduced yourself. It will be like you are going down. People, some of them even laugh at you because they would think you are going down. But what is important is to have that boldness to go down with the hope that you will go up. Because what happens when you were employed, you were earning, for example, a 10,000 puller. Say, I'm giving an example of pullers in our nation here. You are earning 10,000 puller. But when you leave that employment and start your own business, probably you are going to start with getting 1,000 or less. So you need to appear as if you've gone down. But if you persist in that business from that 1,000, from that 500 puller, you end up having more than 10, 15, 20, 100 thereafter until you become even a millionaire. So it's not difficult to grow up in business. So you need just have these people to just have that boldness and start something based on something that you know best.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Great. So I think you have already touched on some of the questions that we were going to ask, like, for instance, what should aspiring entrepreneurs do? What should, I don't know what advice you have for business leaders. Somebody has got 50 employees, 100 employees, 150, 500 employees. And right now, they don't know what's going to happen. Some countries are still in lockdown. Some have just come out of lockdown and nobody knows what's happening. Should business leaders be sleeping at the moment, waiting for COVID-19 to go? Or what sort of mentality do they need?
Number one, it depends. If the lockdown is still there, I would advise that people should respect the laws of their country and remain indoors, because what is important is your life. When we started our business, we didn't have anything, but what we had, it was our life. We had good health, we are alive. That's why we are where we are today. Now, what is important is for you to stay safe and make sure you remain alive, because a business is not difficult to restart it or to, but life, you cannot restore your life if it is gone. So I would suggest those people to say remain indoors if the lockdown is still there, because being alive is profit. Because because you know, money is not in the business, money is not in the mine, is not in the soil. The richest person, the richest thing is in yourself. If as long as you are alive, you are very rich, because everything starts off from you, then going out. This is the advice that I can give to those ones whereby the laws are still restricting them from moving. But those have been given time to go out and restart their businesses. I would encourage them to sit down, and because there was no income, there were no sales, there was no production, the best thing is to sit down and find a way to see, okay, how much money is left with us? How much money do we have? And how can we reduce our costs? They should start reducing costs. They should find any avenues whereby they can reduce their costs. It could be their salary bill, it could be their advertising, it could be their rentals. You lose nothing if you move from a bigger building to a smaller building. You don't lose anything, because the time shall come whereby you go back to that bigger building. So people should learn to adjust. There are some people whom we call climbers. Climbers are people who want to appear what they are not in the community. When you go deeper in their lives, you discover that they are not like that. So we should adjust life according to the situation in which we are, so that we have got extra money to boost the business. Because money is the blood for the business. Without money, there is no life in the business. So we need to cut any other costs, and so that we have got surplus money to reinvest into the business. So if you continue to have the lifestyle which you had before, you will have little money to inject into the business. So in other words, you need to have as much capital as possible so that you can jumpstart your business. That is number one, what the business people should do. Now, if you now have that little money that would have, acquired from the costs that you have cut down, then that money should now take it to the business. But when you take it to the business, you should not just start by throwing it into the business. You should make an assessment to say, is my business still relevant? If it is relevant, then now you can still go on with your usual business as usual, and they can also probably improve the quality, improve the services, so that you have a competitive advantage over other people. Then that's what we can do. Then from there, I would suggest that people should not just rely on borrowing. Borrowing is not very good, because in the event that you borrow money, you put in your business, and the business does not rise up, that loan becomes heavy. So that at the end of the day, when the owners of the loan want their money back, it will be straining. But still, if you make your assessment properly to say, okay, if I get a loan and put it in my business, the market is there, I've got the competitive advantage, I've got everything, there's nothing wrong to go and get a loan and inject it into your business. Another thing is also to get a partner, because if you get a partner, if things doesn't go well, the partner does not claim, because it's part of the business. If things goes well, you share it's still things will be okay. So I would suggest that people, before they get into the business, should sit down and see the way forward, whether to borrow, whether to cut costs, whether to diversify, to say, for example, you are in a business like the hotel industry, and people are not yet moving, they're still skeptical, they are afraid that if I get into a hotel, probably I'll get a disease. So in such a circumstance, if there's any surplus, some money somewhere, you can diversify and start to do some things separately from what you've been doing before. So this could be the advice I can give to the business people who are already there.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Doc. Now, are there some business ideas that come to your mind that you think our young people, or like you said earlier, it doesn't have to be young only. There can be some people who have been laid off their employment, or some people whose businesses have closed down. Are there some ideas that quickly come to your mind that you think, if, okay, let's say, if you were to start all over again, what is it that you could do right now?
Okay, right. COVID-19 brought a lot of problems. And then problems, usually, if you come up with a solution to a problem, that's a business. Because every business should address a certain problem. And if a business does not address a problem, it means it's not a business. So you should identify the problems that have come as a result of COVID-19. In my case, I've realized that when people were locked up, they still needed food. And I've realized that the food industry, you won't go wrong because people want food. So people can try the food industry, right? Either, and they can even try farming. You can do, you can take care of livestock. You can also do the actual crop farming, or you can go further and do some kind of processing. You can buy from other farmers and do some processing. Then you sell a processed product. So I think because those people, as we speak, those people who have got supermarkets, people who are in manufacturing, people who had some crops, as we speak, they are not crying. They are happy. They are happy people. So I would suggest that some young people can look into the business that is related to food. If they do some business related to food, they will be successful. Then at the same time, COVID has brought a problem whereby we could not meet one-on-one in terms of selling of our products. Some business were selling their business physically to some other people. I think this is a high time that we should also invest into technology. Some business, I would suggest that some young people can start some business which are related to technology, because as we come out of this lockdown, as we go over the lockdown, the COVID-19, there are some opportunities that are going to come up, a lot of them, which are related to internet, which are related to IT. So either you would sell the gadgets, or you'd sell the software, or you'd create some software. Something related to internet is going to work out. Then again, the other things like related to entertainment, because we're in the house watching TV throughout. So anything related, like anything related. So it's so simple. So some people, when they think of business, they think big things. No, we should not go too far. Should not go too far, because we should start small. They are what we call humble beginnings. There is nobody who started with a big business. If you sit down with any business person, they didn't start big. We need humble beginnings. So think of something very simple and start to, as long as it's addressing the problems that were created by this disease. So we can start very humble. At the end of the day, we have a business and you grow it, and at the end of the day, you have got money.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much. This is highly appreciated and very helpful stuff. Yeah, so one will be thinking, what does somebody do? What are some of the tips that help someone to start small in business, and then you grow the business until you employ people and they run this one, you even start another one, and you keep diversifying? What are some of the secrets? Because when you look at most of our entrepreneurs, they remain micro forever.
Yeah, now what happens, the other challenge that we have got, our people, they quickly get into these flashy things. They rush to buy cars, they rush to buy expensive watches, they rush to buy expensive clothes. That's not it. When you start a business, don't use the profit, or don't use the capital, but the capital level should continue to grow. For example, you order something for $1 and you sell it for $1.50. The following day, when you are going to order the next order, you should order something which is more than $1. Don't eat the fee. Say you use the $1 and you got $1.50. Don't eat the whole $50. I mean the 50 cents. Go and order something which is $1.25, for example, $1.30. Then you only use probably 20 cents out of the $1, the 50 profit. So don't eat the whole profit that you get each time you make a little bit of profit. You should reinvest all your money back into the business so that the capital levels continue to grow. You continue to order more and more and more. You should not be like a cycle whereby when you are selling one basket of tomatoes, you sell that same basket the rest of your life. See, if you check our mothers who are in the markets there, our mothers, they are lacking that skill. Because every day they sell the same quantity of goods that they've been selling every day. They don't grow. Because I should be, if I'm selling, if I sell one cabbage today, tomorrow I should be able to sell 2. The other time I should be able to sell in a wheelbarrow. In the other time I should be able to sell I should hire a truck to transport my cabbages. In the other time, I should open a retail shop to sell my vegetables. So that's how people grow. I'm just using this simple illustration, but I'm referring to any other business. People should learn to replow their profits into their business so that the business can grow from one level to another level. And they should not quickly rush to want to appear rich to other people, because by the time you are trying to appear very rich to others, at the same time you are eating into the capital of the business, and the business won't grow. So I would suggest that people should not rush to live well. Continue to live your life as if you don't have a business. Then later, you improve your life to another level, but the business should be always higher than you, because that's where the money is coming from. I think that's the advice I can give to the business people.
I love that. So there is the issue of capital. Capital must continue to grow.
Yes.
And the respect for the business. You must honor your business. That's the asset which is bringing the income.
Yes.
Amazing. And then another thing I keep hearing you emphasizing is the issue of not trying to show off or to pretend that you have arrived. I think sometimes, particularly as Black people, we have the quick arrival syndrome.
That's very correct. Very correct.
People must know that I have arrived. But it's not about the people. It's about the journey.
It's about the journey.
Aspirations.
Because you won't get where you want to get to if you overspend during the process. You won't get there. You won't get there. The business should grow to a point that you get income which you does not struggle to get it. Like rental, like profits, like interest from your investments. You don't struggle to get that money. It just comes even if you are sleeping. That is the way we should get to with our businesses. That's when you can start. If you want to eat money, if you want to show off, I think that's the time to show off, whereby you are getting what you call residual income.
Yes.
That is the level whereby if you want to show off, you can do it, but there's no reason to show off.
At that level, you don't want to show off to anybody. I mean,
yeah, because what happens, the higher you go, I mean, you should. I mean, as you go up, you should even become more humble, but when God lifts you up, you should be even more humble. You should continue to go down, because God would have lifted you already. But when you're up there, don't try to show people that I'm up here, whatever. Try to reduce yourself as much as possible, and people will continue to respect you, and people will continue to buy your products, because you are doing it for them, not for yourself. Because a business, after all, a business is done for the purposes of meeting the needs of the public. The shops, everything, what we see belongs to us as the public. The owners are someone, people are behind it, but they're doing it for us. So let the people be happy with whatever you're doing and remain humble.
Wow. I think there's so much to pick from all these things you are saying. So looking at, for example, the Zimbabwean economy right now, I know some people are in property, some do construction, some do different things. What advice do you have? Could this be the right time to be constructing properties and things like that?
Yeah, it depends on the level in which they are, and it depends also on the sector or business sector in which they are. But some sectors, they are benefiting out of what is happening. Say some pharmacies, some clinics, they are making money out of what is happening. Some shops, supermarkets, they are really benefiting out of what is happening. Those people, they've got opportunity to invest into properties and other investments. But others, I would suggest that they should not worry about investing at the moment elsewhere. They should invest in that business itself. They should invest in the business in which the business that they're doing. They should invest in that business, so that that business would recover from the problem that it be facing. When the business recover, then you can always go back to other big investment that you've been doing before.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Now, no, I don't know. You wanted to continue with that?
No, I think it's fine at the moment.
Okay.
Otherwise, we'll pick it as we go.
Great. So, obviously, people are always thinking of what can we do as economies. I'm sure our national leaders, obviously, what I have learned is that business and politics, they do not mix. So I try to avoid talking politics on this show. But talking about the national economics and international economics, what do you think Zimbabwe should do to recover from the state where we are? What do you think Botswana should do to recover? South Africa, Southern Africa in general, what are we supposed to do, in your thoughts?
All right. The money of our governments, it comes from the companies, it comes from the industries through tax. So what they should do, they should make life easier for the companies so that the companies grow. When the companies grow now, they will have opportunity to get much tax from those companies. So what they should do at the moment, they should relax in terms of taxation, in terms of duties, in terms of any levies that they are charged by government institutions. They should relax those taxation and all those payments. Any payments that we do to the government in relation to our businesses, those payments should be reduced or should be waived for a certain period. Then they will take over after a certain period, because that will give industry to recover, to resuscitate. Because we are struggling at the moment because we don't have enough capital. Our capital have been eroded during the lockdown period. So we don't have enough capital. So if these taxes remain as huge as they are going to make us find it difficult, or will take more time to recover. But if the government want more tax from us, want more levies from us, they should give us a period to breathe, so that at the end of the day, we grow and they will get more money. Because if they don't do that, it's like it will fire back on them at the end of the day, because we won't have enough money for them to tax. Many people won't be able to pay any tax. At the end of the day, the governments will take time to recover as well as economy. So the governments should sit down and revisit all the charges which they make on our businesses, so that at the end of the day, our business will breathe and be able to accumulate the money that they would want to tax at the end of the day. That's the awesome advice that I can give to some governments. And at the same time, the governments should try, and like in Zimbabwe, they used to have what they call agriculture. It's a scheme whereby they would give some, it's called what they call contract farming, whereby they would give some inputs to the farmers, so that the farmers would grow more crops. At the end of the day, they will sell them and then pay back what belongs to the government. Yeah, so such a scheme is also important, and it should not be done in agriculture only. It can also be done to some small businesses that are coming up. It can also be done in other sectors. It can also be done even in health sector. In any sector, the government should come in and help people to grow those businesses. And when those businesses grows, they will also have enough tax to collect out of that. Like in this case, we're having challenges of food. Now, if governments would support farmers, at the end of the day, there will be enough food in the country. And if government supports some small businesses, those businesses will grow and government will be able to get more tax. So I would suggest, if they've got any surplus, if they've got any money elsewhere as a government, they should try and help their business people so that they would grow from where they are. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Back to insurance. What are some of the things you would advise people? I've seen that it seems there is a rise now in demand for life insurance. And I've also seen some financial institutions seem to be doing well when it comes to, a product where they say, retrenchment cover or something like that. If you are retrenched in the next 4 months, you can get a salary. What advice would you give to business leaders and to people in general? I know that many people don't believe in life cover, but I wrote on it in my book, 15 Secrets for Personal Financial Success. And I was saying, one of the most important things anybody needs in their financial planning is to have a life cover. Because we have people that die. I mean, you have your family, they are eating well, they are dressing well. When you are gone, right from the day you go, it's over.
Okay,
so,
no, that one is now my field. That's where I belong.
Yes.
Right. Insurance is in two types. There is an insurance is whereby it helps people, especially the family, in the event of early death of the parent or in the event of early death of the breadwinner. Like this during COVID-2019, we have lost our brothers, we've lost our sisters, and some of their families, they've remained, their children are still there. Some were at school, some were at boarding schools, they were at different levels of life, and they still need support. So in the event that you die too early before or you have acquired some investments or you've acquired some properties, then you die too early, then there will be a problem to your children. They will be removed from the schools in which they are. Then they will start to go to these village schools and to a new life that they've never dreamt of. And then the lifestyle will go down. The type of accommodation which they need to have is gone. The income from, all the support from the parent is gone because the breadwinner has died. So life cover, what happens? It gives a guarantee to say, even if you pay once, you pay twice, you pay thrice, and you die, we give you the sum assured or the amount of money which we promised you when you started. So even if you die after paying very few premiums, if they promise that your cover is 1 million, they'll still give your family 1 million. So this policy is taken out of love, so that even if I'm not there, my wife and my children should maintain some kind of life which I introduced them to it. Because it's you who gave them that lifestyle. It's you who made them live the way they are living. Now, in the event that you die, they will still need you to do that, even if you are dead. I've seen some people going to the graveyard, crying at the grave of their parents, beating it, shouting to say, why did you leave me like this? Because you've just died with, you see, the Bible says, a wise man will leave inheritance for his children. So if you are wise enough, you should, because it takes time to accumulate wealth. It takes a lot of time to accumulate wealth, and it can happen that you can die before the wealth accumulates. Then if you die before the accumulation of wealth, it means your children are going to suffer. Your wife is going to suffer because you've died too early before you had accumulated wealth. So that's when life insurance comes in. Then there's another type of insurance which pays more in the long run. These are investment policies. They've got a fraction for the life cover and a bigger fraction for investment. Most of that money is invested for future use. So if you want to balance this equation, you should have a policy which pays more in the event that you die too early, and have another policy which pays more in the event that you don't die too early. Because the one with the life cover, which is guaranteed, which pays even after you have contributed 1 or 2 premiums, in the event that you don't die, it still pays, but it won't be as much as an investment scheme. An investment scheme, when you die, it does not pay much if you die too early. It will pay much if you live long. So you should have a policy which pays more in the event of premature death. You should have a policy which pays more in the event you live long. So this is how insurance, life insurance comes in. Amazing. And beside life insurance and the investment scheme, there are other investment schemes which, when they run for at least 2 years, you are allowed to make some withdrawals. Those that are called special savings, that every insurance company has such policies, whereby those are the policies which were going to help us, especially during this COVID-19, because it does not specify when to go and withdraw money, but you use it in the event of such dilemmas, such problems that we are facing now, those policies, that's when they will come in. Yes, the policies have not yet matured, but I'm allowed to take part of it before maturity. So that is how you survive during this time. This is another advice I want to give to people. If we got back into business and our business kicks up, starts to go forward, let's have a life insurance that pays in the event of early death. Let's have life insurance that pays more in the event of maturity. And if possible, let's have another one which gives us access to the money anytime in case of some inconveniences or some problem that comes up like this COVID-19.
Thank you so much. You have said it very well. I just wanted to say where you mentioned that as a man, you have introduced your family to a certain lifestyle, and now you die before you accumulate enough wealth. In some cases, actually, you have a job. You are not even running a business. So the problem with employment is it's a good thing. We need employees. But the problem is when you die, even your degrees, your children can't use them.
Exactly.
Your diplomas, your certificates, they can't use them.
Exactly.
It's very rare also for your family to go and get a job where you were working. So it's like it's over.
It's over.
I believe that sometimes the way people cry at funerals, it's not just that we have lost our loved one, but it's also crying because of the debts that have been left. It's also crying that, hey, now that the source of income is gone, what are we going to do?
Yes.
There's a sense of hopelessness and helplessness. I mean, we love this person, they are gone, but on top of it, we are doomed.
Exactly.
So I also think even as husband and wife, because they are husbands and wives, both of them are working or they are running businesses, it is important for both of them to have the life covers as well. You can cover this one and this one cover this one.
Exactly, because we don't know
Just
who goes
wait
first.
for one.
Yeah, of course we know, according to statistics, women live longer than men. But there are some chances whereby women can also die earlier. So in the event that they die earlier, they should also leave something for their children, even for the husband.
And for the hubby. Isn't it? It's always la vie, I love you, I love you. I love you means even when I'm not there, I want to take care of you.
No, wives are usually, some of them, they're afraid to use your money to marry another woman. So that's where the problem is.
But you know, these days, Dr. Munhande, these days you even find that there are also women whereby a man leaves money and the woman gets married to another man, and then some of them they actually forget the children.
So that one you should not go. You should not think that way. You should not think. We should simply do it out of love. I love my wife. In the event of death, I want her to live well.
Yeah.
And then you know what? If you leave your wife staying well with money, even if she wants to remarry, she will attract rich people as well.
Of course.
She will attract people who take care of her. So what is important, don't care about the other, just know that my wife will live well in my absence and take care of our children. You just do it out of love. Even the wife should do the same.
Amazing stuff. Thank you so much for that. So you know what I like about life cover? It's you mentioned the issue of love. So in other words, you are saying I'm taking care of my family when I'm alive. Even when I'm in the grave, I want to take care of them.
Yes, I even tell them that I can take care of you when I'm alive. Even if I'm dead, I'll still take care of you.
And organized, Father.
And now because of that, they've got peace of mind. They don't wonder, they don't worry. And at the same time, and then if you have got a family which is so peaceful, it can even prolong your life. At the end of the day, others might not even die early. By the time you die, they would have grown up doing their own things. Definitely.
I've also seen that on the market, like in Botswana, there are now some policies whereby if you are still alive because usually people feel like, oh, I don't want to waste my money on life cover, then I don't die. Some of the insurance companies now have products whereby after 15 years, they give you something back. To say, thank you, you are still alive, you continue contributing, and then like that, you get something.
No, what happens? There's a policy called a whole life policy. That is the policy which does not mature. It only pays on death. Then there is a policy called endowment. An endowment policy have got a maturity date. If you don't die too early, it will mature. But a whole life policy can also be converted to an endowment policy. A whole life policy does not have a fixed term. You can say, you can go to the insurer, I had a policy which is supposed to mature only on death, but I want to give it a period. I want you to give my money back after 15 years. I want you to give my money back after 20 years. You can fix a maturity date to a whole life policy.
Nice. Thank you so much. You know what? I strongly believe in insurance.
Exactly.
There is something I've seen. Usually I try to avoid statements that might sound racist. But for the sake of facts, you know, we are not racist. We work with different people from different races. Even on this show, I interview different people from different continents.
Exactly.
But I wanted something specifically for our Black people. You find that most Black people, when they hear the word insurance, they run for their life.
Exactly.
You know, I had a privilege of working as an independent financial advisor 2010 to 2012.
Exactly.
I was working under a British boss. He was the owner of the company. I learned a lot of things in those 2 years. That man was highly organized. Himself, he had a life cover, he had educational policy for his children, he had retirement policy, but I don't know why, and you know, for the white Westerners in particular, like the whites, you find it's, I don't know, maybe it's in their culture. They insure almost even their household goods, they are insured, they insure their vehicle. But for the Black men, we tend to believe on luck. You say, God is protecting me, you know, and your car is not insured. Everything is not insured. You don't have a life cover. What would you say in a few words, just for our people? We are not saying it to mock ourselves, but to just speak to ourselves and say, guys, let's come to the party and know that things happen that you didn't plan.
Okay.
You must be ready.
Yeah, even myself, I didn't believe in insurance, because the reason why I was not believing in insurance is that if I insure my car and my car is not involved in an accident, I will lose that money. And I also, in the case of life insurance, I would say, why should I spend money on something that I won't enjoy? It will be enjoyed by other people. So it's just a matter of education and training. Yeah, our people need to be educated in terms of insurance. In fact, insurance is something that came to our communities very late. The Western countries, they started insurance long back. It's more than 200 years when insurance has been introduced in their countries. But in our countries, it was introduced somewhere, like in Botswana, about 50 years ago. In Zimbabwe, slightly more than 100 years ago. So, and then this insurance, what happens, that issue, I also want to blame the insurance companies. The insurance companies, they target people who are earning, people who are rich, people who have got money already. Then they educate them so that they join. They don't educate other people, even who don't have money, so that when they got money, they would also see. So people in the villages, in the rural areas, they don't know. It's not their fault. By the time they grow up and finish school, come to the city, start to work, they will hear about insurance at a very late stage. Then by so doing, it will take them time to catch up. So I want to give the burden to the insurance companies themselves. They should spend money in advertising. They should spend money in educational material. They should do their best to make sure that our community is educated about insurance, because this thing is basic. There is no business without a risk. Yeah, because my major training that I did, even I specialized in risk management. Risk management is to look at your business. What is it that can go wrong in my business? What is it that can stop my business from going on? You ask yourself those questions. What problem can come up? Some problems come through the regulatory authority, some comes through the government, some problems come through your health, some problems comes through your competitors, some problems come through some natural disasters. So like this COVID-19 is just something that came up. It's a risk. It's a problem that has come up. So in life, there is no business that won't go through problems. There is no individual who won't go through problems. Everyone will go through problems. But what is important is to prepare for it. See, what is important? Yeah, I should prepare for it. Like we know that one day I will die. And my family will have a problem to buy coffee and transport, etc. Why can't I put that in place before I die? You know that you will die and my children might not be able to have money to go to school. Why can't I put some systems in place that will provide money in the event that I die too early? In the event that I don't die too early, you know that you grow old and won't be able to go to work. So what are you doing that will help you in the event that you live long? You know, living long is also another risk. because you won't be strong to work. So there's need for education. Our people need to be educated. But I'm so happy, like in Botswana, funeral have been accepted by almost everyone. Investment schemes, was they've got a maturity date, they've accepted them. Even in Zimbabwe, the same thing. Where we are lagging behind is life cover. That lump sum which is paid in the event of because everyone thinks I will live long. So we have got those two problems. The other thing that we have in problems in Africa, we say if I live long, my children will take care of me. Oh. If I die too early, it's up to them. So there's two policies which are not, whereby the uptake is low. It's the life cover and the retirement policy. Those are whereby the uptake is low. But the funeral and the investment and the education in between there is fine. What is now lagging behind is life cover, whereby we need to educate our people about life cover.
Thank you so much.
And about retirement.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I always say to people, people don't take retirement seriously because nobody has been old before. And you don't have to wait until you get there and you have pain here, you have pain there, and then now you are trying to call your children and you hear a message on the phone, the number you have dialed is not available at the moment. Because your children are also trying to fend for themselves. Life is tough. If you don't, yeah.
Because when you get old, you need to frequent the hospital more. You need money for medication. You need, even if you say, for example, you're driving yourself, you need even a more comfortable car. You don't need an old car when you're old. The older people should even drive a better car.
Yes.
Which is easy to drive, a modern car.
Yeah. So it would be, of course, we are not saying people should not buy nice cars now, but we are saying at a time when you are old, that's when you need the most secure, the most comfortable. So we need to work and prepare for our future.
Exactly. So that one is covered by a policy which we call a retirement annuity or personal pension plan, which you just do by yourself to prepare for your old age.
Wow, that's amazing. From my side right now, the only other thing that is coming to my mind, because you and I have a passion to empower entrepreneurs. We have a desire to make sure entrepreneurs are doing well. One thing I've seen, Dr. Munhande, is that, like, especially, okay, as a financial advisor over the years and a financial speaker over the years, I've also realized that most people who are in business, they just believe that I shall continue making money. So even when we are talking about life cover, about the retirement, if you ask most people who run micro, small, medium businesses, you ask them, do you have a life cover? Do you have a retirement, plan? They don't have. They just believe that their business will continue taking care of them. So you find employees are the ones who easily understand that, you know what, I will not be employed forever. At age 60, age 65, I will be done. So I need to retire and things like that. Please say something to particularly the entrepreneurs.
Right. I think that could be another advice that I want to give to entrepreneurs in the event that you make a surplus. Because if we had a surplus, or if we had some investments during this COVID-2019, we're not going to have a problem. We're going to dig into our investments and reinvest into the business. Or we're not going to cry because this of COVID-19, because we're simply going to get into our investments. So my advice, in the event that you make surplus, let's make some meaningful investments. Let's invest money in shares, in government bonds, in stocks, there's so many counters whereby you can invest your money. There are also some brokers who can assist as to which shares you can buy and what time to sell. Because we need to have investments which can be easily converted into cash, and also need to have some investments that can take time to be converted to cash. So in other words, I want to encourage businesses that when we make surplus, we should put some money aside for future use or for emergencies. If in the event that things like this, the COVID-19 happens again, won't be crying. But as we speak, there are some people who are just quiet. Some are pretending to cry because
Germany, in Shona we call it Germany. They say, oh, yeah, things are tough, man. You don't know what to do. But they are sitting pretty.
There are some people who are well organized, who have got their monies, they're enjoying. They can go for the next 10 years, some of the people.
Yeah.
So this is the advice that I want to give to. Don't wait to say, I'll save money when I get more. There's what is called the forced saving. You force yourself to save something, even if it's not enough for your budget.
I like that, forced saving.
Yes. Even if some other things are not paid for, even if there are other problems, you simply save. And that saving, you take it as a cost. You put it on your budget as a cost. To say, as if you have bought something. You take it as a cost. And at the end of the day, it's part of your budget. You write rent, what. Then you write saving. Then you go on. Then even if you are left with nothing at the end, or even as a negative or nothing at the end of the day, but the saving has already been put in place. So that is forced saving. I would suggest that people should learn to save money. If you have got money in your bank account, especially in the countries whereby the economy is stable, like in Botswana, the pula is stable. If you had some money in your account and now there's no business, you simply go back to your business, to your bank account, and start to use that money for your daily needs, for your business, for everything. You simply get the money that you had saved at some point. So my strong advice to people is to introduce what is called forced saving.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Munhande. It has been such a privilege to have you, such a delight. Thank you so much. What else do you have for us before we round off?
Generally, I think I've said almost everything. But at the same time, I want to thank you very much for the opportunity that you've given me to share with some brothers. I've got a lot to share, and I'm not just sharing from reading or I'm sharing from experience. Whatever I've talked to you about, I've been doing it, and I'm living it, and I'm sharing with people what I'm doing, so that at the end of the day, I know that they won't go wrong because I've been there. So I want to advise people that whatever, in your followers who are going to listen to this, is to take this thing serious, because it has been tried and tested, and it has given some results.
Amazing.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you. God bless you.
God bless you too.
Bye-bye.